You think river fishing is just sitting in a lawn chair, drinking a cold beverage, and reeling in cute little panfish on a sunny afternoon? Think again. The rivers winding through America hide prehistoric monsters, apex predators, and biological nightmares that will make you think twice before ever wading into murky water again. Today we are counting down the 10 most terrifying creatures ever pulled out of American rivers. I'm going to tell you exactly how to catch them, and in some cases, how to survive them. And you better stick around for the third freak on this list, because it's an anomaly with a smile that still has biologists completely baffled. Before we dive into the dark water, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button and tap the like button so you don't miss out on more straight talking, fishing guides, and river secrets. Let's get into it. To really understand what we're up against, we have to kick things off at number 10 with the northern snakehead. If you think catching a fish means the fight is over once it's on the bank, you haven't met this thing. Often called the frankenfish, this invasive nightmare from Asia doesn't just survive out of water, it breathes air. It can literally crawl across dry land using its fins to move from one pond to another. They are highly aggressive and will decimate a local ecosystem. If you want to catch one, throw topwater frogs over thick weed beds because they absolutely smash surface baits with bad intentions. But here is my veteran advice. When you finally get one on the bank, do not try to take the hook out by grabbing its lower lip. It has a mouthful of razor blades, and I have personally seen them snap at a grown man's ankles in the grass. But if you want something that looks less like a fish and more like a prop from an alien horror movie, let's talk about our number 9 spot, the sea lamprey. Found invading the Great Lakes and their tributary rivers, the sea lamprey is essentially a parasitic vampire tube. It has no jaw. Instead, its mouth is a giant suction cup filled with hundreds of swirling, razor-sharp, horn-like teeth. It latches onto other fish, uses a rough tongue to scrape away the scales, and slowly drains their blood. Now, you don't rig up a rod and reel to catch a lamprey. But if you are fishing for lake trout or salmon and you reel one in only to find this 2-foot bloodsucker attached to the side of your catch, well, the best fishing tip I can give you is to cut the line, burn your fishing rod, and take up golf. Once you get over the vampires, you have to deal with the dinosaurs. Sitting at number 8 is the bowfin, also known as the dogfish or swamp bass. The bowfin is a living fossil that survived whatever wiped out the T-Rex. They live in shallow, muddy, oxygen-depleted backwaters, where most other fish would suffocate, and they have a serious attitude problem. A bowfin is pure, unadulterated violence. If you want to catch one, run a white spinnerbait or a chatterbait right through the thickest, nastiest submerged timber you can find. They hit moving baits like the bait owes them money. But listen to me carefully. A bowfin has a jaw strength that will crush a plastic crankbait to pieces, backed by rows of needle teeth. Don't try to lip a bowfin unless you think you have too many fingers and you want to get rid of a few. Always use pliers. Now, at number 7, we have a creature that completely ruins the cute, harmless image of a catfish. When beginners think of catfish, they think of cute little whiskers and hot dogs on a hook. The flathead catfish is a different breed entirely. These things grow to the size of a 2-seat sofa, pushing well over 100 pounds. They sit in the darkest, deepest holes in the river, blending into the mud, waiting to inhale whatever swims by. Here is the secret to catching a monster flathead. Throw away the stink bait. Flatheads are apex predators, not garbage disposals. They don't want rotten chicken liver, they want live prey. Rig up a massive circle hook with a live bluegill the size of your hand. Drop it into a deep timber jam and hold on. If your rod suddenly bends in half and feels like you just hooked a passing submarine, congratulations, you found one. You might think you're safe from ocean predators when you're fishing in fresh water, but the creature taking our number 6 spot proves you are absolutely not. Yes, I am talking about the bull shark. Bull sharks have a unique ability to process fresh water, and they routinely swim thousands of miles up the Mississippi River and into its tributaries. They have been caught as far north as Illinois. It is completely terrifying to think you are fishing for bass in a Midwestern river, and a 500-pound apex predator is swimming silently under your boat. If you actually want to target them, you need heavy offshore saltwater gear and massive chunks of cut bait. But my sarcastic advice to you is this. If you are fishing out of a 10-foot plastic kayak and you accidentally hook a bull shark, you better pray your line snaps before that shark decides to take you for a very fast, very violent ride. Halfway down our list at number 5 is the undisputed water wolf of the northern rivers, the muskie. They call the muskellunge the fish of 10,000 casts. What makes a muskie terrifying isn't just its size, growing over 50 inches long, or its mouth full of dagger-like teeth. It is their eyes. Unlike most fish that have eyes on the sides of their head, a muskie's eyes are angled forward, giving them binocular vision like a wolf or a human. They hunt by stalking. The best trick for muskie is the figure 8. They are notorious for following your lure all the way to the side of the boat just to stare at you and judge your technique. When your lure gets to the boat, don't pull it out. Plunge your rod tip into the water and sweep it in a large figure 8 motion. That sudden change in direction often triggers a violent boat-side strike that will test your heart medication. If the muskie is a wolf, the beast at number 4 is a tank. Fishing for white sturgeon in the rivers of the Pacific Northwest is not fishing. It is heavy construction work. These are literal dinosaurs covered in bony armor plating, and they can grow over 10 feet long and weigh hundreds of pounds. They look like prehistoric dragons patrolling the river bottom. To catch them, you need massive chunks of rotting shad or squid fished on the bottom of deep river gorges. But let's be honest, when you hook a 10-foot sturgeon in heavy river current, you don't really need a fishing rod. You need a tow truck winch and a very good chiropractor to fix your back after a 2-hour tug of war. Which brings us to number 3, the one that gives scientists absolute nightmares, the pacu. This is a relative of the piranha natively found in the warm waters of the Amazon River in South America. Yet, fishermen keep pulling them out of local rivers in Texas, Michigan, New Jersey, and beyond. What makes the pacu absolutely terrifying is its mouth. When you pry its jaws open, you don't see fish fangs. You see flat, square, eerily human-like teeth. They look exactly like a set of human dentures shoved into a fish. Now, the official story is that pet owners buy them for aquariums, realize they grow too big, and illegally dump them into local rivers. But here is what the scientists still cannot explain. These are tropical fish. They are supposed to die the second the water drops below 60 degrees. Yet they keep showing up in freezing northern rivers, massive and thriving. Are they mutating? Are they adapting to the cold? Nobody knows for sure. The pacu uses those human teeth to crush hard nuts and seeds that fall into the water. So, if you are wading in a river where these have been caught, I highly recommend you keep all your anatomical parts securely inside your waders. As we get to number 2, I know what you are thinking. This is not technically a fish, but the alligator snapping turtle is one of the most terrifying things you will ever accidentally reel in. These prehistoric beasts lay on the bottom of southern rivers, looking exactly like a muddy rock covered in spikes. They open their massive beak-like jaws, wiggle a tiny pink piece of flesh on their tongue that looks like a worm, and wait for a fish to swim in. Their bite force can effortlessly snap a broom handle in half. Beginners accidentally hook them while fishing on the bottom all the time. If you reel up what looks like a dinosaur covered in mud, do not try to be a hero. Do not try to get your $5 hook back. Apologize to Godzilla, cut your line as close as you safely can, and let that monster go back to the Jurassic period where it belongs. And finally, taking the absolute top spot at number 1 is the undisputed king of river monsters, the alligator gar. This is a massive 8-foot-long, 300-pound torpedo. They are covered in interlocking, enamel-like scales that are so hard, early Native Americans used them as arrowheads. And their snout is just a long, bony chainsaw filled with hundreds of needle-sharp teeth. They look like a crocodile mated with a shark. If you want to catch one of these river dragons, you are going to need chunks of common carp and extreme patience. But the most important tip I can give you is regarding your terminal tackle. You absolutely must use heavy steel wire leaders. If you use standard nylon monofilament or fluorocarbon line, you aren't fishing. You are just providing dental floss for the gar right before it bites completely through your line and swims away with your hook. So, the next time you are standing on the bank of your local river, watching the muddy water swirl by, just remember, you are not alone. There is a whole lot of terrifying history swimming around down there, just waiting for you to make a cast. I want to hear from you. Be honest. If you hooked into one of these 10 river monsters, which one would make you drop your rod and run for the truck? Let me know down in the comments. Thanks for watching. Stay safe on the water and tight lines.